Hi everyone, it's Lynnea for LDRS Creative, and it is day 2 of the Creative Team Summer Collection Release Party. So today I have a card for you that I'm going to be using the Delicate Stems Impression Press and Foil plate along with the layering stencils. And when I store products that have coordinating stencils or dies, I like to keep them together. That way I know right where everything is and I can use them together on my projects. I'm also going to be bringing in the Arches dies from a previous release and the cotton watercolor panels from LDRS Creative. These are an absolute game changer if you are working with watercolor or with letterpress because these panels are thick. The fibers really allow the press plates to press into them and you'll get an absolutely amazing impression every time. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this Delicate Stems flower and the sentiment, and I'm going to arrange them on my Better Press platform. Now, like always, I want to remind you that when you are working with impression, press, and foil plates, you do need a specialized letterpress platform. You don't want to run these through your die cutting machine with your die cutting plates. You will damage your plates because these impression dies are thicker than your regular wafer thin dies. So I'm choosing to use the Better Press platform from Spellbinders, but you can use whatever letterpress platform you have that is compatible with press and foil plates. I know that I want my design to have the arch as the focal point and have this Delicate Stems press plate coming up from the bottom, and if I have some clipping on the sides too, that's okay. So I'm using my arch die as a guide for where I want to place my sentiment and my floral piece because I know I want my sentiment centered in the top of that arch and then I want the flowers down at the bottom. Once I have this positioned where I want it to be on my Better Press platform, I'm going to grab my LDRS Creative Raven Hybrid ink and I will ink this up really well with that dark black ink. I have a piece of that A2 cotton watercolor panels taped onto the lid of my Better Press platform. I'll put that on top and run this through my die cutting machine. And what I'm left with is this gorgeous image pressed into my watercolor panel. Now, like I said, I am going to be die cutting this, but I'm going to be bringing in the Delicate Stems layering stencils first. There are 3 stencils in this set. The flowers have 2 layers, so kind of a base layer and then a shadow. And then the greenery, the leaves, are just one single stencil. So you can ink blend really easily through these stencils. I'm going to grab the first one, and it is annotated with a number down in the bottom right-hand corner. I'll use some temporary tape and just tape this in place, really easy to line up right over those flowers. Now, I'm going to do a special technique here with my ink blending, but if you want to keep this really simple, you can just go over this with one color of ink. But I really love rainbows, and so I'm going to go ahead and create a rainbow color effect for these flowers. And I'm just going to use 3 primary colors of ink. So I'm starting in the center with yellow ink. Then off to the left, I'm using a pink ink and blending that into the yellow. So I have pink, orange, and yellow now. And then I'll grab a blue ink and blend that off onto the right. And I'm overlapping that yellow again, so I have green and blue, and then I'll come back in with the pink on the right-hand side and create a purple. So I have that full rainbow. And I did keep a light hand here for that first layer because I know I want to add some shadows with the second layer of the stencil. I'll grab that second stencil and then I'm coming in with the same colors of ink again, but inking up my blending brushes a little bit heavier and pressing a little bit harder so that I get some nice shadows. Again, I'm starting in the middle with my yellow. You don't have to. You could start with the pink or the blue, whatever your heart desires. I just like to start with the yellow. That way I know that I have enough ink so that I'm going to get the yellow, but then also blend with the orange and to create the green. Also, I like to start with the yellow. That way I don't get any contamination on my yellow blending brush. So here are my pretty rainbow flowers. And yes, I know that you won't see anything like this in nature, but that's okay because this is art and art does not have to be exactly like real life. I'm going to add some gold watercolor spatters after I die cut that with my Arches dies. As I was putting my card together, I realized that a plain background or even a colored background just wasn't what I was looking for. So I grabbed the Braided Waves impression press and foil plate, also from this new summer collection from LDRS Creative. I lined that up in the center of my Better Press platform, and I'm taping an A2 watercolor panel to the top lid, and I'm going to ink up this Braided Waves press plate with black ink again. I ran that through my die cutting machine, and because I had tape covering the edges, I had small areas where that pattern didn't quite transfer. If I was thinking, I would have rolled up my tape and put it at the back side of my paper, but I didn't. There's no problem though. I just grabbed a black fine liner Sharpie and I filled in that design because it is still pressed into my cardstock. It's just that the ink transferred onto the tape rather than onto the background. So no problem, easy peasy to fix. I layered up my stenciled panel onto a larger black arch, and then I placed those down at the bottom of my card. This is finished. This is so easy, and I love that pop of rainbow color. I hope that you guys do too. Thanks so very much for joining me. As always, I have the links to the products I used on this card in the video description below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!